For hundreds of flood victims, they were a welcome sight. Shelters with a sense of home for those whose homes were lost.
Oh yeah, it's good.
But now we're learning what it took to get them. The tab for the temporary camps built after the June floods is out. It's staggering. The province built 2 temporary locations, one for Calgary, another for High River. A third is still in the works. The tab so far, $87.6 million and counting.
I believe we did the right thing. We got them built. I would hope that we always will take care of people and make sure temporary housing's in place.
But break that down per person. The Calgary camp, called Great Plains, lasted 14 weeks. It cost $22.6 million. At its peak, 100 people lived there. That's $226,000 per person. Use the average number of residents. The rent per person is $23,000 per week.
We've said all along that we're going to learn through this process. We had over 3,000 applications for housing. In the end, not all of them needed it. But I'll tell you what, I'd still rather have a few unused rooms than have people on the street.
But once again, for the PC government, sole sourcing is an issue. Critics point to the fact almost nothing post-flood had competitive bidding. They say the government went to go-to contractors who made huge profits, all off of Alberta's biggest natural disaster in recorded history.
This government doesn't seem to understand the disconnect between dismissal of handing out $1 million in contracts while ensuring that everyday Albertans have to fight tooth and nail for any dollar from the DRP program. So how can the minister justify nickel and diming everyday Albertans while blindly handing over millions in sole-sourced contracts?
You have to make sure that there's enough supplies to meet the demand, because simply, Mr. Speaker, there was 100,000 people affected by this flood, 15,000 homes affected, and he wanted to make sure that nobody was left out in the cold.
The government says no matter what the cost, the Fed should foot most of the bill. They say disaster funds should cover 90% of what the province has spent, leaving Albertans off the hook. The camp in High River is still open. They built it for 1,200 people. There's only 300 left. That third unbuilt camp has $1 million sunk into it. The government is now talking about calling it off. In High River, I'm Joshua Skurnick, and this is a Sun News Special Report.